The headline reads basically that if your child goes to a resilience project school, by the time they leave, the odds of them having depression have decreased by 47%.
Jesus.
And the odds of them having anxiety have decreased by 34%.
Well. It's time to prove things, isn't it?
That's why I'm wearing glasses.
That's why I've always worn glasses, to show everyone that the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
And today we've got a big bowl of pudding.
Resilience project pudding.
Resilience project pudding. The resilience pudding.
Is the expression pudding? Or?
The proof is in the... Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
The pie's in the sky and the proof is in the pudding.
Okay, cool.
The pie is in the sky, but I don't know if you... Why would you use the pies in the sky?
No, you would say pie in the sky.
A pie in the sky.
Yeah.
Pie in the sky. Yeah. But today is not about pies, it's about pudding. And it's all about the proof that is now being put in the pudding, which we're now all eating and serving to kids across Australia.
Yeah.
True?
Yeah, it's pretty much true.
Is it helpful to continue speaking in metaphors?
Probably not.
Okay.
I find it funny, but I think the listener might get confused.
Yeah.
There's no pudding, there's no pies. We're talking about the Resilience Project. Because thank you for letting me do this, by the way, because I'm just very, very excited about it, and I want to share it because I want. Yeah.
No, this is huge. I mean, to just give a quick, because you're about to explain some incredible data.
Yeah.
But the Resilience Project being your company, Hugh, that you started and you now work with, there's like 40 people that make up the Resilience Project. It's a school curriculum project that goes in schools around Australia, and not just schools, but
it goes to workplaces and schools and early learning centres. But one of the most important things I think is one of the most important moments for the Resilience Project, maybe the most important ones. We had an extensive research evaluation conducted by Monash University, because basically to see what is this program actually doing. We've had a couple before, but this one is it's a longitudinal study. So it's really looking at what happens over the space of, basically a child's time at a school, from all the way from foundation to grade 6 or from year 7 to year 12, what actually happens if the school's doing the Resilience Project.
Yeah, which this is huge, because up until now it's just like, oh yeah, the school's got the Resilience Project. Yeah, that's that bloke that I saw on the project once. Yeah, cool. Hopefully this works. Hopefully this is good, this gratitude, empathy, mindfulness stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so Melbourne University and Adelaide University have conducted some very thorough research before, looking at different things, which I have sort of mentioned before, and people can go and read about that on our website. But the one I want to talk about today is the Monash Uni evaluation. So the headline reads basically that if your child goes to a Resilience Project school, by the time they leave, the odds of them having depression have decreased by 47%.
Jesus.
And the odds of them having anxiety have decreased by 34%.
I mean, that is...
Yeah.
I mean, in many ways, it's like not surprising for us, because we know that it's good, and you guys all know that it's good, but there was until now, there's none of this like hard evidence.
Well, if someone had said to me, it is surprising, because if someone said to me many years ago I started it, are you aiming to try and decrease the odds of someone having depression by 47%? I'd go, no, well, nothing is good.
That's impossible.
That's impossible. We can't do that.
Yeah.
We are, I don't know if surprised, we're just thrilled. We're just so excited.
Because when I hear people talk about exercise, or when we've talked about factors that you can implement in your life, such as exercise or better sleep, I feel like I wish I should know off the top of my head, but it's nowhere near reduction of 46%.
It's 47.
Oh, sorry, 47%.
It's been 15 years since I first turned up to a school to do a presentation, not really, I knew it was about mental health, but not really explicitly. I hadn't really gone and done the work on how do we break this down to make sure it's has positive mental health outcomes. It's been 25 years since, and I know I've probably said this before on the podcast, but it's been 25 years since when I first became curious as a question of what makes people happy. It was when our sister was in hospital, and I know I've said this before, but just seeing the silhouette of Dad hunched over the kitchen sink in tears, probably the second time I'd ever seen him cry, and people know what that feels like when you see your parents cry. It's a very unnerving feeling. But I remember just thinking then, how are you meant to make people happy? It's just been an incredible journey. And if people want all the details, you can go to the website to look at it.
And which website's this?
The Resilience Project. It's got, if you go to the schools program, it's got all the research there. So the research was conducted by an incredible PhD candidate, Dr. Roshini Balasooriya Lekamge, and her supervisors were, there is one name in here you'll particularly enjoy, both of you, Professor Nazmul Karam, Dr. Leo Chen, and Professor Dragan Ilic.
Dragon.
Isn't that a good name?
Yeah.
Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing name.
First name Dragon.
Yeah.
How do you spell it?
Dragan.
So tempting to put an O in there.
Yeah.
To be like a dragon.
Yeah.
You know those creatures.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that fly.
The real ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, he might be the nicest man I've ever met. Dragan.
Huh.
Yeah. I was very hard to say. I was like, how do I pronounce this?
Is it Dragon?
I think it's Dragon.
Dragon.
Dragon or?
I think it's Dragon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, this shouldn't be the takeaway from this episode. People walk away from this episode going, did you know that... Okay, Dragan. How would you pronounce that? What do you think? Clip it up, George. Let's get it on the gram.
I'm going to read to you a couple of messages I've had from parents in a second whose kids go to Resilience Project schools. But just before, I reckon there might be maybe 8% of the people listening going, I need to know more about this study.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first thing to know, it's peer reviewed. So if I was to ask you guys if it's peer reviewed, what that means, and does that mean anything to you guys?
I think it does.
Yeah.
Do you want me to try and...
Do
you want this one, Ryan? Or?
Well, they take it out to the you find a body of water with like a long boardwalk, and you read all the information there, and then you get people to review it at the end of that long boardwalk, sitting above water but in a safe environment, otherwise known as a pier. Yeah,
Not my understanding, but you could. That would be a nice way
that's
to
a
do it.
different way of peer reviewing something. Yeah.
I think the other way is that you send it out to the scientific peers, so the community, not the wooden ones, but the community of scientists who are experts in that area. And then they look at the study, they review it and say, is this study well done? Is there any holes in it? Can I see anything wrong with it?
Yep.
As a way of validating and verifying how accurate the information is and how good the study is.
Yeah.
There you go. Both excellent answers.
You okay?
Both most excellent answers.
Yes. Do you want to know what peers reviewed is?
Yep.
It's where an ex-James Bond actor looks at the information. Pierce Brosnan. Peers reviewed. Anyway, you can choose to keep that or get rid of it, Bridge, in the edit.
Anyway,
Peers reviewed.
This one was peer. This is the one that Josh said. And the reason that's important is because this is basically before it's published. It has a whole lot of experts in the field basically who look at it and go, is this good research? Do we want the general public reading? Is this going to be helpful? Is this good? And so it was peer reviewed, and it's now been published in the Journal of British Psychiatry, which is like, to be honest, I don't really know what that is, but it sounds really cool.
Sounds very good.
It must be very good.
I don't know why it's not the Australian one, but that's fine.
I'm sure it will be.
It'll get there.
This is annoying, so I barrack for Australia and the cricket, not England, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah, true.
It's a bit different.
Yeah, but still, you can still also, two things can be true. You can be excited about the British the British Board of
Journal of Psychiatry,
and go for Australia. Like both things can happen.
True.
Yeah, that's
true.
like genuinely, all peers reviewed aside.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It truly is. So the other things that have happened, there's so many other things I got from the study. This study is looking at what happens after 6 years. So I know a lot of schools that are with us will try it for 2 or 3 years and go, yeah, we enjoy it, we're going to try something else. And I know our school partnership managers are saying this is like, mental health is not something you can just fix overnight or in a couple of years. It's something you need to put the work in.
Yep.
And a testament, and I'll explain that with the messages we've got a couple of the messages I want to read out in a second, but just to really paint the picture of what it's like in Australia right now, people say mental health crisis a lot, but here is actually what it looks like. So Resilient Youth, who's one of our incredible partner organisations, every kid who does our program will do this survey. And so they have so much data. So at the start of 2025, they surveyed 190,000 students around Australia. And here are their findings. And just like a heads up, it is quite confronting. So in primary school kids in Australia, 31% of primary school kids in Australia are experiencing symptoms of anxiety, and 37% of secondary school kids are experiencing symptoms of anxiety. For depression, we now have 29% of primary school. Like, remember, this is like, I mean, the
Under 12.
Yeah, kids under 12, 29% are reporting symptoms of depression, and 28%. So 1 in 3, again, 1 in 3 secondary school kids experiencing symptoms of depression. And the one that I do want to mention here, which is not from Resilient Youth, but it's from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, is that, and this is why we're doing this episode. This is the reason we're doing the episode. 65% of adolescents in Australia do not seek help for a mental illness.
An adolescent being under 18, is that right?
Oh, I think it's like a teenager, yeah.
Teenager, yeah, okay.
So 65% are not seeking help. So that's so many of them who are going through this completely alone, afraid to share it or not really sure what's going on.
Or not having the resources to be able to share it.
Yeah.
Or the people in their life that they feel safe to talk to about it with.
Yeah. And so if we know kids are not comfortable speaking out about it, that's why I want to do this episode, because getting the Resilience Project into a school is going to help those. It's going to help everyone, but it'll help those kids who are not seeking help and so desperately need it.
What an amazing feeling it must be for you to now know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the program that you've created, you've all created and put in the schools, actually works.
It's
and
unbelievable.
Staggeringly well.
Yeah.
I would say the Resilience Project is like my first child, so I feel like a very proud parent.
Yeah. I can't even
Very proud.
imagine.
Yeah.
It'd be like if we found out that things that we talk about in this podcast were actually helpful.
True.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, accurate.
Accurate and helpful and healthy.
We'll see.
Imagine if that was true.
Yeah, I know.
We'll see if Professor Dragon can help us.
That could be the next PhD.
Yeah. So this is the 3 lines I'm about to read here, which will interest probably 10% of the people. I'm going to do it anyway. So this, just to explain how the research was done from Monash University. It was a quasi-experimental study with an intervention and a control group used to evaluate the Resilience Project's school wellbeing program in 40,149 students across 102.
40,000?
Yeah, it's a big one, yeah. Across 102 schools in 2023, data collected included socio-demographic information and outcomes derived from validated scales included life satisfaction, hope, coping skills, anxiety and depression. Intervention schools were arranged by the number of years they had implemented the program, and mixed effects regression models were used to evaluate the program.
I will get ChatGPT to summarize that for me later, but that's really interesting.
40,000 is a big takeaway though. Like that's a very, I doubt there are any other studies of that scale.
The last one we did had 160,000.
Oh, wow.
But it was looking at something very different. But I mentioned like positive outcomes just before. The other thing that came out of the study was after 3 to 4 years, Resilience Project students had higher scores across all positive mental health outcomes. So that includes life satisfaction, hope, and the really big one I think is coping skills. So it massively improved their ability to cope in challenging situations. But I just want to read 2. I had a really nice morning this morning. I was sifting through. Usually when I put something on Instagram now, I put it on there and I almost throw my phone in the river because people just write the meanest things these days, no matter what you post. We see it all the time with our things we post on our, like with the Imperfects, people will write awful things. I don't quite understand why, but I'll post something and I throw my phone in the river because I don't want to see. It's usually nice stuff, but you get mean stuff. But I decided.
How often are you throwing your phone in the river?
Every time I post.
How often are you near a river?
Which is not much. Yeah. I just throw me. I don't know how to answer. Good joke.
Stop interrupting my flow.
Hugh was not on the debating team. Well, yeah. Anyway, to my final point. Yeah. Well, amazing technique. Well, yes. Well, it's fun to do though. You know? Sorry, Hugh.
I've never done this before in the podcast. I've started sweating a lot.
Wow. Probably out of excitement.
Yeah. Maybe. So I had a lovely morning this morning. I actually went back to and read a whole lot of the DMs I received after I did a post on Instagram just talking about the high-level findings of the research, and just found some amazing messages and a few emails from people as well from around Australia whose kids are doing the program, and I just wanted to share them. And the reason I'm doing this is because, and I don't want this to sound like just a whopping great ad for the Resilience Project.
Too late.
Yeah.
I don't think there has been a bigger ad for anything on this
We're at 15 minutes.
Would hate this to sound like a whopping great ad for the Resilience Project.
But without this research, to me, it feels a little bit like, please do our program, you'll really love it. Now I feel like I'm going, if you do this program, the kids in your school will seriously benefit from this, and we all will from that. So anyway, so just 2 messages I want to read. One, I've chosen one from a dad about his daughter, and I've chosen one from a mum about her son. So the first one, she's asked not to be named. So she writes, "Hey, I'm not really good with words, so I hope this comes out all right. I just wanted to say thank you, honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for what the Resilience Project has done for my boy. We live in a country town. Life out here can be tough. People don't always talk about their feelings much, especially the older generation. In my family, we've had our fair share of struggles with mental health. My dad, he took his own life when I was a kid. That's something I don't really talk about much, but it's always there. When my son started school, I was so worried. He reminded me of me when I was little, quiet, anxious, and on edge. I used to get real low, and I was scared that he would go down the same path." I assume she meant as her dad, I think. But then from prep, he started coming home and telling me about the Resilience Project stuff, gratitude, empathy, and mindfulness. I had no clue what it was at first, but he just lit up talking about it. He'd ask me what I was grateful for at the dinner table. He'd sit outside and tell me he was trying to see how many different things he could hear when he felt stressed or worried. He even tried to help me when he thought I was having a bad day. He asked me what emotion I was feeling and said maybe I could draw it as an emoji. He's so different to how I was, and probably my dad, because he's had the chance to learn this stuff early. And I reckon it's changed everything for him. He's full of life now. And when things go wrong for him, he knows how to handle it. I can't believe how lucky we are that he's had the Resilience Project his whole time at primary school. I honestly don't know where he'd be without it. Anyway, sorry, this is such a long message. Thank you so much.
I mean, that is unbelievable.
Oh, so nice. It's just, no, that's from that was regional part of Australia. And it just, yeah, I remember back in the early days, I did so many long car trips out to regional destinations. And it was always, you'd go out there and it felt great to be out there, but you're also reminded of how tough people are doing it out there. And the lack of resources and services out there. And early on, the demand to go out there was so much, but it was just me literally going and talking. So I'm thinking this is just so sad. But now to be able to have the program in any regional school at any one time is, it's just so nice.
Yeah.
And just before we finish this message here from a dad, he said, "Hi Hugh, just a quick note from a very grateful dad. Our daughter has always been a bit of a warrior." And he spelled that W-O-R-R-I-E-R. Just
a warrior,
yeah.
Not a warrior.
Yeah. I made that mistake a long time with my tax accountant, whose nickname was the Warrior, and I thought it was because he was really stoic. And I said, no, he just worries a lot.
Yeah,
the warrior. So,
good distinction.
Yeah. I remember looking at him going, "He doesn't look much like a warrior to me." But anyway.
But now you're like, oh, he does look like a warrior.
Yeah, he frowns a lot.
Hi Hugh, just a quick note from a very grateful dad. Our daughter has always been a bit of a warrior. Since she was little, she's carried the weight of the world on her shoulders, overthinking and struggling to sleep. We've tried everything, breathing apps, bedtime chats, etc., but nothing really seems to stick. Then she started learning about GEM at her school. Honestly, and don't be offended by this, but I really didn't expect much from it. But it's changed her. She's still the same caring, thoughtful kid, but she's lighter and so much free from her worries. She's learning how to notice the good, how to be kind to herself, and how to stay calm when things are overwhelming. It's made a difference to all of us, not just her. We've started having in-depth gratitude chats at dinner. She's even started trying to teach us stuff we can all do to slow our minds, in her words, when things get tense. I can't quite believe it. We're trying desperately to pass on everything she's learning to my brother's kids, as they don't get this at their school, and sadly they desperately need it. Thank you for helping my daughter feel safe in her own mind, Neil. And just as I read that, I just think the other thing that I just, at a very personal and selfish thing, but like before we had kids, and like I think everyone has a vision of what parenthood will be like, or what. And I remember one of the things I always look forward to was having dinner with my family, sitting around the dinner table and talking about the day. And I might have said this before on this podcast, or at least to you guys somewhere at some point, but we have not got that version. With neurodiversity, it's anything but sitting around the table having really nice conversations. A friend of mine who has a child who's autistic and ADHD sent me a photo the other day saying this is mealtime at our house, and his son was upside down on the couch with his hands behind his back eating food off a plate that was on the floor. And I was thinking, yeah, you're lucky they're eating food, to be honest. But and I was really sad that I would sit around. I'd often find myself sitting at the dinner table by myself. And I just find it quite a sad time. And about a year ago, I was leaving the Resilience Project office, and I found there was this deck of cards, a Resilience Project conversation cards. I said, what are these? I had no idea we'd made them, but they were like gratitude, empathy, mindfulness discussion cards that were placed on the table. I didn't even know it. And I took them out of politeness going, oh, what a good idea. And the kids found them and said, can we do them tonight? And then from that point on, all of a sudden we were with this family that would sit around the dinner table because the kids loved answering the questions on the conversation cards.
What a strange thing that you had nothing to do with them, but but the Resilience Project helped your family. Like that is
it was this strange moment of like, gosh, the Resilience Project really helped my family. And now we don't use the cards, but Patrick, who is not 3 yet, the other day, we just do favourite thing that happened in the day. He drives the conversation. Like we wait for him to sit down. He goes, what your favourite thing? He says it like that every single time. And we all answer it. And then he gets a massive smile on his face. He knows it's his turn. The other day he said, he paused right. He said, my favourite thing was having dinner with you guys. And we laughed so much because it was such a beautiful, profound comment. But it was just, we laughed so much that he can't stop saying it now. He says it all the time when we're not having dinner. But
it's a hit.
So he's been chasing that laugh ever since. But it was an amazing full circle moment of thinking back to the struggles that we had in our household and being curious around what makes people happy, and then creating this thing, and then finding out from Monash University that it not only works, but it seriously helps people all over the country. But then to have it help my own family, it's just been, it feels, the whole thing feels very surreal, but it's so unbelievably exciting. And I just want every kid to do it because I know that it works.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only imagine, even just what you're saying then, it's kind of interesting to think about it in terms of, yes, it's a program for the kids at the school and it helps the kids decrease their chances of depression and anxiety. But then I imagine also the impact that has on the parents and the family and just like the kind of
ripple effect
of that, of like friends. And it's like when, even now as adults, you know that when you're in a good place, you can have a better impact on the people around you and be there for other people in a better way. But God, to learn those skills and to have that kind of resilience from such a young age is just, what a incredible thing you've put into the world.
Yeah, I started doing the talks, but then there's 40 people who work here who are, as you guys would see, like they're most humble, hardworking, wonderful people who just do the most. They're the ones who take the program out to everyone now. It's I feel like whenever I get these messages, I need to forward them to every single staff member because they all deserve the credit right now. They're incredible.
I mean, having this in this school as a part of the school, a part of what you're learning, in the same way that like you have maths and English and all these sorts of subjects, to have this as placed as important, because as we know now as adults, it's like this stuff is arguably more important than a lot of the stuff that we learnt in school. Like, you know, like I'm not great at geography, even though I did geography a couple of times a week for years.
Yeah.
But it's like, even if I was, it would be helpful. No, it's good to know how many countries are in Africa. But this is like stuff that this is helpful for every single person.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's amazing, but also wild that it's only now really becoming a big part of like the actual school curriculum.
Yeah. I should also say, just to all the schools who I guess took a chance on the Resilience Project before we had this data, who just had a gut feel that this was working and was helping their kids, such a huge thank you to you for being with us for this journey. There are schools who have been with us for 10 years plus, and those schools are just, thank you so much. And
they can walk around very smugly.
They
Well. Well, I guess we picked the right horse.
And then I think also when you think about stats for adults, I think there's 9 suicides a day in Australia, and adults didn't grow up with programs like this, and so obviously there can't be a study done yet of what effect it's going to have over 20 or 30 years. But I think it's given that it is having such a profound effect on kids at the moment, it's so exciting to think of what this effect it might have long term for adults, for these kids when they become adults.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, so true.
Yeah.
I reckon, an interesting companion episode to this would be an episode we did, Hugh, where you talked about How I Built This, which is such an interesting story about you taking it from literally going to a school and just hoping for the best to building it to what it is now. That's a really fascinating episode. Yeah, we'll link to it. Yeah.
So do we play the advertising music in the background for this whole episode?
So,
yeah, probably. Probably.
Do we start it?
Do you want to mention your books as well?
I'm in a little bit of a difficult position because we, as you know, live next door to a school.
Yeah.
And the school has a great reputation around where I live. I know a few people that go there. They've got, everyone says it's just a great sense of community, a really lovely place. And we did the little information thing the other day, and they don't do the resilience projects. And I already was I feel like they should be doing it. And now that this has been announced, I'm starting to feel guilty that my kids are going to go to a school that doesn't do it because I know how successful it is. There's stats there now that indicate. And
you didn't believe it when your brother told you, but
now I believe it. Yeah, now that Dragon told me, I should give it. It's what's her name?
Roshini.
It's Roshini who did the study. Now that Roshini says it, I believe it. But I also feel like I need to advocate for it at the school. And I feel it's going to seem a little self-serving when they see my surname. But I feel, it's a bit hard now for me to go, oh, God, the school my kids are going to go to doesn't have it. And then also, if I'm not successful getting it into the school, how do I get some of this stuff into my children's life?
Yeah.
If for whatever the school's not interested, they can't. Yeah, for whatever there isn't take up at the school and they don't want to do it, but I want to do it. How do I get some of these lessons and values into my children's life?
Such an awesome question. I think the first thing to say is that we're lucky to have this data that says it works, but so many schools are doing incredible things that absolutely, there might not be data to suggest it, but would be helping the kids with their mental health. There are some great programs out there doing such good work. We're one of those, but there are other great programs that schools are using. Both the schools that my kids have been to don't do it, and I don't want them thinking that I think they should, because I think they're doing a great job.
It's an awkward one for you to suggest.
Very awkward, yeah. But they're doing a great job. The school my kids are doing an incredible job. I don't feel the need to push it on them. But I do think asking them a question around what they're actually doing. I remember Penny and I went on a few tours of schools a couple of years back, and we were on a tour with the principal, and Penny said, I felt really awkward, and she said, what mental health kind of programs are you, what wellbeing programs are you doing? And the principal said, as he was walking around us, he said, but the programs where there's some good ones. There's you've got to do these programs these days. We have all things from, we do a thing around how to use the toilet properly, when the preps come in. So all types of stuff. So I think if the program is how to use a toilet, I think that's probably not.
Yeah. There's got to be a level up from that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But that was an outlier. Most of the schools were doing something. But in order to do the resilience projects, if you go to the Resilience Project website, there's a lot of stuff on there which is designed for people to go in there and be able to take stuff away to do it in their own home.
Yeah, okay.
So they're not, some of them are resources that you might want to purchase, but a lot of them are things you can just do some reading on it, and you can get ideas
and activities.
There's a lot of ideas and activities on there that you do with your family. So
awesome.
But I'll come over and I'll talk to you about that.
Yeah, well, Augie actually pulled, because I think my kids were in here and they took a couple of books home that have stickers and stuff, and now they're really into it. And Augie wanted me to read him as his bedtime story last night, the grade 4 student planner. And he's 2.
Oh, wow.
Which is basically like...
He's advanced.
Yeah, very advanced. I don't think, but it actually, because there's these great pictures of the like superheroes in there that are like empathy and gratitude, and their superpowers are things like that. And he wanted to know what the superpowers were, who they were, what their superpowers were, and then it ended up in a discussion he was like, "What's empathy?" And I got to try and explain what empathy was to a 2-year-old, which was challenging, but
How did you go?
I think I went all right. Yeah, I think I got something in there that resonated, but it was really exciting to me to be having those conversations with him at this stage already.
Yeah. Well, I think this is probably parents listening to this thinking similar to you. I think there is a whole section on the website about the research that might be something to present to the school, put in front of the school.
Yeah.
Cool. So maybe you can introduce that to your school.
Awesome.
Well, Hugh, what a huge
I'm feeling uncomfortable with this. I'm already feeling like we might have put this out. This feels so much like an ad.
Well,
it feels...
Well, I don't think it's I see it more as like
a public service
announcement.
Yeah, maybe.
Like a very biased public service announcement. But no, this would be more like an ad if we didn't have the only reason we're doing it, obviously, is because of this research that's come out. Because we can now, you can now hand on heart say this definitely works, and to not have this in your school now would be an absolute irresponsible act. It'd be like saying, at our school we have all the different subjects. We don't do recess and lunch though. We don't do those things. Really? But kids need breaks. Do you do the resilience project? No. Irresponsible.
Yeah.
So this is not so much an ad as it is just like a heads up.
Yeah.
It works.
Maybe we'll release this episode. Let's have a meeting afterwards to discuss.
No, I think this is our podcast. We do whatever the fuck we want.
A bit of a swear for all the principals listening.
Why not?
Yeah.
Have fun with it.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for indulging me. I hope this leads to some schools doing the program, which leads to kids feeling happier, improving their mental health and coping better in challenging times.
I hope so too. Well
Thanks,
done.
guys.
If you enjoyed this episode, there's a very good chance you'll love the Vulnerability Mail, our weekly newsletter to help you remain imperfect. Each week, we'll send you one vulnerable question inspired by the current episode to help you unpack your own imperfect life. Subscribe at www.theimperfects.com.au.